What's up guys, a quick follow-up video for this deal we just wholesaled to an investor for $70,000. It's gonna be worth $125,000 when we are done with the remodel. This was the investor's first ever deal. He's 26 years old. We are here with Andy, who just bought his first rental property.
It was a hard money loan, almost 100% finance.
Almost. Lives down in Texas. Today's video, I'm gonna give you guys an update. We're just about done with the remodel, and I'm gonna talk about the things we did and didn't do to add value to this property. Last time we were here was the first time myself and the investor had walked the property.
Yeah, definitely needs some work.
Is it better or worse than you expected it? Like from the photos to like actually seeing it?
This room here, probably a little worse than I thought.
Yeah. We wholesaled it to him, so we just had a scope of work and photos from our GC. But biggest thing, this place had real nasty old hardwood. And in the past, we have tried sanding and resealing, resurfacing, revitalizing hardwood. And we have found hardwood just, for a rental, gets abused by tenants, and it also seems to just soak up smell. So even whenever we would sand it and reseal it, if it was like a real crack house, it still had that like weird smell.
You smell that, right?
Yeah, I do smell that.
A lot of that is trapped in the floor here and on the walls.
I swear that every house that has squatters has. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's meth or drugs or what it is, whatever, but it's like the same distinguished smell. Man, I need to make a candle that's called Crack House. Anyways, I digress. I've had a lot of coffee. Flooring. First thing we did to this place, LVP flooring, and LVP flooring summarizes the mentality we have with our value add remodels to make rentals. It's cheap, but durable and new to the touch, and it looks decent. It looks good to the eye, an untrained eye. Like if you don't know what, terrazzo flooring or something fancy looks like or feels like to live in, you're not gonna have any problems with LVP flooring. So the flooring, this is really durable. We get it for about $1 a square foot. And it summarizes the mentality you should have with value adds. Safe, clean, and reliable, new to the touch. So then the next thing is the paint. So I'm just kind of going in order by most square footage of what was required. Really simple paint. We always kind of do this like the same kind of gray in all our houses. And important note on that, there's 0 accent walls, just the same paint throughout. And then our trim, it's always just white. Baseboards and trim, just white. And it makes it simple because then we can buy the same color of paint in bulk and you don't have to get creative with the painting. We're not doing accent walls, anything cute like that. It's just the same color paint throughout. And for a rental, it's not supposed to be a dream home. Just again, safe, clean, and reliable. And we do bare paint. We make sure it's high quality, and then kills paint and primer. So going back to the smell, the 2 biggest things you do to fix the smell, the flooring kills paint and primer for the walls. So it seals in anything and everything that could be making this place smell bad. So now, honestly, when I was walking in here, it kind of smelled like a brand new hotel room. And that was the first thing I thought. And I remember the first time I walked with Andy, we were like, you smell that, Andy? Like that's what these houses smell like when you buy them. It smells great in here. So that checks off box clean. So now this house is clean. As far as the value add goes, when the appraiser is walking it, the first thing they notice, brand new floors, fresh paint, and they think, oh, they did a complete remodel. And when they're appraising the house, the comps they're pulling for what sells in the market, they're looking at what was the condition of those houses and what price they sold, and how does the condition of our house compare. If you say, well, it's rent ready, this place you can technically move someone in, but the fixtures and paint and everything about it is 20 years old, just because it's technically livable does not mean you're gonna get the appraisal of the houses that were also livable, but were done to the nines. That also doesn't mean you have to copy them exactly. If they're throwing in marble, you don't have to necessarily throw in marble. It's not gonna get that granular, at least in our experience in our market. It's really checking boxes, flooring, paint, all this does appear to be a new remodel. And that's what, like if you watch the appraiser appraise your property, if you haven't before, I encourage you to do it. Watch how they fill out the sheet, and then it allows you to see what things they value and what things they don't value. I'm gonna keep going in on the things that we do based on our experience with appraisers. The next biggest value add is gonna be relating to your kitchen. So here's what we do and don't do for kitchens. Countertops, granite or quartz. Always. We don't do anything cheaper and we don't do anything nicer. And the great thing about granite, I get some people saying like, I would never give a tenant granite. Look, tenants are not gonna do anything to the granite. It is stone, it's good, it's super durable, tenants can't seem to screw it up. And appraisers, especially in our market, love to see that us as landlords are putting in granite, not that cheap like vinyl stuff. What is it even called? Antonio always corrects me on it. Comment below if you know what I'm talking about, but it's like that real cheap, kind of like fake granite stuff. that gets torn up. They cut on it, it looks terrible, and the appraisers kind of roll their eyes at you when you do it. At least in my experience, our appraisers roll their eyes, and then they send back the appraisal and we're upset with it. They're like, dude, come on now, quit making my job so difficult. That's a lot of the relationship I have with appraisers now is when you do a full remodel, they appreciate it because you're like, hey, they're getting pressure from every investor to give them brownie points on remodels. And because of compliance stuff, there's only so much an appraiser can do to change their appraisal to meet what you as the investor think it's worth. However, if you do proper remodels, they appreciate that because they're like, hey, thanks for making the effort. Now, obviously there are some bad appraisers, but in our experience, whenever we've done that, they're more likely to give us a benefit of doubt. But back to the kitchen, appliances, not a Viking, not a Wolf, nothing fancy, obviously. It's just a Whirlpool, fridge, and range, and then cabinets. Normally, if we can keep them, we always just sand and paint them. And then we put on these new handles from Amazon. But with these ones, we didn't even paint them. I need to check with our GC if we're actually gonna paint them or not. But typically, if the cabinets are in good condition, we leave them alone and put on new handles, and that's about it. If you do want to go that extra yard, like painting the cabinets, always makes the kitchen look better, but it's not essential. Main thing for cabinets, okay, if they are functional and they're not damaged, just replace the handles, show you did something to the cabinets and you're good. So then that brings me to the backsplash. Always do tile backsplash. It's nice, the appraisers notice it, and it makes the kitchen feel like you actually did a full remodel. Then sink, always do a modern sink like this. They're cheap, they're on Amazon, no big deal. And that's the kitchen. Then the last thing is just like lights. Always do new lights and fixtures from Amazon. It's a little details, but it adds up. That's it for kitchens. Notice I'm not saying to add an island or doing anything extravagant. For the kitchen, countertops, cabinets, safe, clean, and reliable, nothing fancy here. Then the next biggest area where you will add value are the bathrooms. So here's what we always do in our bathrooms to win the appraisal. Tile shower, always do tile shower. Don't do those plastic shower kits from Home Depot. Tenants hate them, appraisers are gonna roll their eyes. And then if you can, glass shower doors. In our experience, appraisers always give us better appraisals when we throw in the glass shower doors. And they're not that expensive either. This kit was like $200 or $300 on Amazon, and then more tile. So with the bathroom, we always do brand new tile shower, new shower kit from Amazon, they're cheap. PEX plumbing, the appraiser isn't gonna notice it. So it's more so for the longevity of the property and you get less complaints from tenants. And then the vanity, we always do a new vanity from Amazon. They're real cheap and they can look pretty fun. And the appraiser sees that and sees a new remodel. And then the other things you need to be aware of, you do not need to always have a brand new roof and brand new HVAC in order to get the most out of the appraiser. In my experience, we've only been dinged by an appraiser if the HVAC looks distressed. Distressed, that's literally the terminology they use. Same thing with the roof and fascia and siding. The roof, it looks fine. It looks like it's less than 5 years old. You're good, you don't need to worry about it. Same thing with air conditioning. So if it was functional, like the HVAC and roof, and it was not visually in distress, you don't need to replace it. If it is, like if you look at it, it looks like there's a problem or it looks ancient, you should probably replace it. Those will move the needle for the appraiser. But all in on this remodel, I don't have my sheet on me. Again, I'm just recording a quick video. He's gonna be all in under $30,000 and bought it for 70, all in 30, appraisal 125. He used a hard money loan product, so he'll have a little money tied up in the deal, but either way, this place is gonna rent really nicely for around $1,000 a month, probably like 1,100. Typically the strategy for a house like this would be to buy in cash around 70,000, put in around 30, get it for 125 or really like 135 I'd be aiming for on that appraisal, and then pull out all that cash and do the whole process again. Again, this is supposed to just be a short video, but to kind of summarize the strategy behind a deal like this, look, buy a place that's not livable, so the value add is super black and white and super simple like this. Notice, we did not change any floor plans. We're not trying to make this like a true TV flip. We're not trying to make it the most sexy house on the market. We're just trying to make it safe, clean, reliable. We're taking it from unlivable to livable. The BRRRR method is you buying a discounted property, adding value, forcing that appreciation, and then pulling your cash out to put it into another property, do the whole process again, and that's how you can scale a massive portfolio with relatively minimal capital in a short period of time. So your mentality with remodels cannot be, I'm gonna make it the sexiest remodel every time. It's gonna be the nicest looking house on the block. It's gonna be like Chip and Joanna or whatever on True TV. That's not what your remodels look like. Think McDonald's. You're taking a place that's unlivable, making it livable, and making it reliable for the tenant. Reliable for the tenant because when you have 500 houses and every single one of those houses you did a crappy remodel, your life is gonna be rough. It's gonna be a lot of work. So with that, buying at a discount, remodeling, just doing those items I talked about, the kitchens, the bathroom, essential systems, making them reliable, and then everything else, don't get fancy with it. You don't need to be making open floor plans because you think it'd look better. You don't need to be adding accent walls or sexy molding or trim or baseboards. Just keep it simple and new to the touch, new to the eye. That is the most guaranteed way to always force value, add value, because you're taking a place that literally is collecting zero money and is not safe to live in, and now it's producing income and it's safe to live in. The value add is so clear for the appraiser and for protecting your investment because you're buying at a discount and you're forcing that value. If you're buying a place that's already at retail and you're trying to make it just even better, nicer, that's not a reliable way to add value and create equity and scale portfolios. That's our strategy, our real estate investment strategy, and it's how my teammate and I are able to buy dozens of houses every year. It's not because we're doing fancy remodels or are the best at remodeling, it's because we keep it simple and repeatable. Buy at a discount, distressed property can't live in, make it safe, clean, and reliable, recycle, pull your cash out, move into the next one. If you wanna do a deal with me like this, click the link below. Otherwise, subscribe and see you guys next time.